Hello and welcome to another episode of the Construction Corner podcast. I'm Dylan, I'm your host. And guys, today it's just going to be me. Uh, Today there is something special that I really want to talk about. And I'm just going to dive right in, guys. So this last weekend I was at my wife's Christmas party, and there's, I believe, 80 people that work for her mine. And at the Christmas party, I think there was 100 and something chairs, all that kind of good stuff. And randomly we picked just a chair, picked a seat. And I don't really know anybody at the event. There's maybe a few coworkers I know, and a lot of people I don't know. And so the couple that we ended up sitting across from, and my wife had to deal with a lot of setup and kind of organization, and they did a lot of drawings and raffle prizes, which is pretty cool. And so throughout the event, I ended up just talking to the people across from me, and doing that, it's been interesting here as of late to see the kind of, if you will, chance encounters that I've had with a variety of people. And this goes from planes, just meeting people in line at the airport, to, and I've had some really great conversations on planes with people, to, here at this dinner. And the more and more that we kind of go through life and think about who we meet, the chance encounters we might have, the people that just appear in our lives. And you probably think of some of your best friends, like, how'd you meet them? And some of it's by chance, right? You might have been roommates in college, you might have taken a class together, you might have signed up for a mastermind or an event or something else. And I mean, that's how Matt and I met, is through one of the masterminds that we're part of. Obviously had him on the show, and then he was asking for just microphone recommendations in doing a podcast, and I was like, hey man, why don't you just come on and we'll do this thing together. So really, when you think about it, it's kind of amazing the chances, the chance encounters that we have with people, and how people end up coming into our lives. Well, the couple that we sat across from, the woman, she ended up being from lived in the same small town that I had lived in Southern Oregon, actually on the same road that I had lived on. She lived kind of at the top of the hill, and then I lived, another 8 miles past that. But again, very small community road. Nobody really goes up. No one really goes up that far, and kind of like an interesting little deal. So we related over that. But the bigger thing ended up being, and this is really what I want to talk to you guys about, is the stress of it. So she happens to be in finance for our local hospital, and doing budgets and all that kind of stuff. And we got onto the topic of really running and distance running and stuff like that. And her boss ends up doing a ton of Ironmans and triathlons and all that kind of stuff, much like I do. And really the reason is stress. She's like, I'm either going to, get in really good shape, or I'm going to be an alcoholic. And for a lot of you that are high achievers, high performers, it's, not unique, not rare, to have and make those choices, right? Whether that's to be extremely fit and go the fitness route, or to, come home every night and, one beer, one glass of wine turns into a bottle or a 6-pack, right? Or a case. And so we go down these roads and we have these choices, right? Whether it's go left, go right. And far too often, we end up, the easy path, right, ultimately is going for that glass of wine, that beer, that bourbon, whatever it might be. And again, this was me for a number of years. A lot of you probably are in that same boat, versus, I had choice, and I knew it after a while. I'd either go to the gym or I'd go home and drink. So I tried to make sure that I had fitness classes in the evenings after work, so that I wouldn't drink, that I would go and work out and do that. And, it really quenched my need or wanting for alcohol, a lot of which just stems from boredom, right? I don't know what to do at night when I'm not working. I'm just watching TV or just kind of relaxing, decompressing from the day. And, the simple thing is to go in and grab that beer to relax. And so a lot of it, ends up stemming from boredom. So what I want to convey here is, you have more than just those two choices. And as high performers, we have a lot of stress to deal with. We have a lot of anxiety problems. And so we want to, improve in other ways. And with that, we want to, you got more choices than you might think. And really the two things that I want to convey here in this podcast, in this episode, is that not only are there tons of chance encounters that you have, chance meetings with people, chance things that, again, that could be your new best friend that you end up meeting, but it could also be, a wake-up call for you in whatever's going on in your life, right? End up talking about alcohol and stress and things like that, right? A Christmas party where I wasn't really drinking, and which is kind of funny too, because so I'm doing 75 hard, and I almost failed here this weekend with that, because I went to the bar to order a drink. Granted, everyone's drinking, right? Open bar, and I went to order a Diet Coke because I finished my water for the day and wanted something, just not water. And with that, ordered a Diet Coke, and the bartender thought I said Jack and Coke. Obviously, it's loud, that kind of stuff. I get it. Take a sip, and I was like, and I spit it back out into the drink, thinking like, oh crap, man, this is not good. That it's not Diet Coke, and the look of horror on the bartender's face was like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm not an alcoholic. I haven't been sober for years. It's all right. I'm just not drinking tonight for this event so I can drive home. But like the abject look of horror on her face when I was like, no, I'm not drinking, was because, I'm sure that there's been people, right, that are sober, that kind of stuff, and that you end up giving them a drink, and ruin a 10-year sobriety streak or something like that. That's bad news. But it was not that case for me. But anyway, like, this is the thing with alcohol, right, is that it can obviously there's times for it, places for it, and then there's, just things to not do with alcohol. And so it's, picking those spots well, not using it on a nightly basis, not using it as a crutch, and allowing yourself to, it's okay to be bored, and that's one of the things that we want to do to help improve. So no matter what you're doing or the chances that you might go through, just remember that you do have choice, and that as we progress, that we have the ability to, make these choices. And then, you never know who you're going to meet at dinner, and it's always fun to kind of go through that. So guys, manage your stress, figure out what you're doing, and especially during this time of year. This is the time of year that everybody gains that 10 pounds for the rest of the year. So make good choices here through the rest of the year. And again, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I know it's a shorter one. We'll try to have something for you later this week as well. But thank you guys for listening, and until next time.